The Woodmen of the World fraternal organization was established on June 6, 1890 by Joseph Cullen Root of Omaha, Nebraska. By the mid-1920s, the organization had over 750,000 members and a growing reputation for helping those in need and providing affordable life insurance coverage and death benefits to its members. Their gathering places, called camps, are similar to lodges of other fraternal organizations. In 1921, 2 parcels of land were given in trust to F.P. Jones to hold for the Tornillo Camp, No. 42, Woodmen of the World, in El Paso. Mr. Jones signed the deed of conveyance in August of 1921, but it was not until after the tracts of land were to be returned to the camp in October of 1922 that the deed was recorded. This led to the case of W.T. Johnson et al. Versus James M. Darr et al., focusing on whether trustees of the Woodmen of the World, represented by J.M. Darr, were entitled to the 2 tracts of land in El Paso. The case raised the issue of whether a trust instrument must be recorded to be effective against a lien holder. After a trial court granted the trustees only 1 tract, the El Paso Court of Civil Appeals overruled and awarded them the full title to both tracts. The case was then submitted on appeal to the state Supreme Court. In March of 1924, all 3 Texas Supreme Court justices belonging to the Woodmen of the World organization had to be disqualified. State law provided that in cases where the elected judges were disqualified, the governor was to act immediately to appoint special justices. Governor Pat Neff, however, found it difficult to name suitable replacements quickly. He made numerous attempts to find justices for the special court, but discovered with increasing frustration that each prominent male attorney he approached was also a member of the Woodmen of the World. Ultimately, Governor Pat Neff decided to choose female lawyers who were ineligible for Woodmen of the World membership. Nellie Robertson was named Special Chief Justice. Edith Willman and Hortense Ward were named to serve as Special Associate Justices. Unfortunately, Neff had not verified that each of his initial appointees met the minimum requirements of the state constitution for Supreme Court justices. One of the appointees, Emma Webb of Bastrop County, was offered a position on the court, but had to decline due to her involvement in the Woodman Circle, a woman's auxiliary of the Woodmen of the World. She also had a nepotism issue of her husband serving in the Woodman camp. Finally, after several resignations and reappointments, the Special Court of Well-Established Lawyers was announced on January 1, 1925, with Ward as Chief Justice and Ruth Brazil of Galveston and Hattie L. Hennenberg of Dallas as Associate Justices. This news shocked the media, with Neff just days from his retirement. The all-woman Supreme Court met in the state capitol on January 8, 1925, to hear court proceedings reviewed by Chief Justice C.M. Curitin, and to determine if a writ of error would be granted in the case. The women agreed to review the decision of the El Paso Court of Appeals, and they set January 30th as the date for oral argument before the court by the attorneys J. Walker Morrow and Volney M. Brown, both from El Paso. The special court announced its ruling on May 23, 1925, upholding the El Paso Appeals Court and allowing the Woodmen of the World full title to the 2 tracts, valued between $10,000 and $15,000. A motion for a rehearing of the case was denied in June 1925. By the time the all-woman Supreme Court began its work, Governor Neff had retired from office, and the state's first woman governor, Miriam A. Ferguson, took office. The novelty of an all-woman court, believed to have been the only such court to exist in the country, and the election of a woman to the state's highest office, gave some distinction to the role of women in Texas politics. However, it wasn't until 30 years later, in 1954, when Texas women were allowed to serve on juries. On June 25, 1982, the first woman was named to serve full-time on the state Supreme Court, when Governor William Clements appointed Ruby Kless Sondock to fill James Stenton's position after his passing on June 10th. When Governor Neff left office, He eventually went on to serve on the Texas Railroad Commission, and in 1932 began serving as president of Baylor University in Waco. He resigned in 1947 at the age of 66. He is buried with his wife Myrtle in Oakwood Cemetery in Waco. On February 1st, 2024, the Woodman of the World, now known as Woodman Life, was rated A+ Superior by AM Best for their financial strength and outstanding performance.